A little girl at the park ran up to me screaming, "Mommy, I don't have kids." I was sitting on a bench eating my lunch when a girl who looked about 5 sprinted toward me with her arms open and wrapped herself around my legs like I was her whole world. I looked down at this child attached to me and said, "Sweetie, I think you have the wrong person." She giggled and said, "You're so silly, Mommy. I thought you had to work tonight." I gently tried to peel her off my legs and said, "I'm not your mommy. Let's go find your parents, okay?" She grabbed my hand and started pulling me toward the playground. She said, "Daddy said you couldn't come to the park today, but I knew you'd surprise us." I figured I'd walk her over to whoever she belonged to and clear things up. She chattered the whole way about how she went down the big slide all by herself, and Daddy let her have 2 juice boxes. We reached a man standing by the swings, and he looked up and smiled at me. He said, "Hey babe, I thought you had the night shift tonight. This is a nice surprise." I said, "I'm not your wife. Your daughter just ran up to me thinking I was her mother." He laughed and walked toward me and said, "Very funny. Did you swap shifts with someone?" I stepped back and said, "Sir, I have never met you before in my life." His face flickered with confusion. He looked at me harder, studying my face like he was seeing it for the first time. The little girl was tugging my hand and saying, "Mommy, why are you being so weird?" He pulled out his phone and said, "Okay, this isn't funny anymore. I'm calling Melissa." He put it on speaker and a woman answered. I felt my whole body go cold because her voice sounded exactly like mine. He said, "Hey, where are you right now?" She said, "I'm at work like I told you." "Why?" He said, "Can you come to Riverside Park right now? Something really strange is happening." She said, "What do you mean strange?" He looked at me and said, "I don't know how to explain it. Just please come." 20 minutes of awkward silence later, a woman walked across the grass toward us, and I felt like I was looking in a mirror. Same face, same height, same freckle pattern across our noses, same birthmark on our left wrists. She stopped 10 feet away and her face went white. She said, "Who are you?" I said, "I was going to ask you the same thing." We did a DNA test 3 days later. Identical twins. She told me her parents said she was an only child her entire life. We agreed to confront them together. I followed her to their house and stood behind her when her mother opened the door. Her mother saw me and grabbed the doorframe like she might collapse. Her father appeared in the hallway and dropped his coffee mug on the hardwood floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. My sister said, "You told me I was an only child. Explain." Her mother started crying immediately. Her father tried to say, "It's complicated," and I cut him off. I said, "Tell me why you threw me away." Her mother's sobs got louder. She said, "You broke your leg. You were 6 months old and we'd been drinking and you fell off the bed and we heard the bone snap." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Her father said, "We couldn't take you to the hospital. They would have seen the alcohol. They would have taken both of you away. We would have gone to prison." I said, "So you dumped me at a fire station like garbage and pretended I never existed." Her mother said, "We thought you'd have a better life with someone who could take care of you properly." I looked around at their nice house, the leather furniture, the family photos on every wall showing my sister's happy childhood, vacations and birthdays and Christmases I was never part of. I said, "Looks like you did just fine without me." Her father tried to step toward me and said, "It was the hardest decision we ever made. Not a day went by that we didn't think about you." I laughed and it came out ugly. I said, "You broke my leg and threw me in the trash so you wouldn't get caught. You didn't think about me. You forgot about me on purpose." My sister stood up and her voice was shaking. She said, 30 years. You lied to me for 30 years. Her mother reached for her and said, "Please try to understand. We were young and scared and we made a terrible mistake." My sister stepped back and said, "A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. This is something else entirely." Her father said, "We're still your parents. We still love you." My sister grabbed my hand and said, "She's my sister. You threw her away and you kept that from me my whole life. I don't know if I can ever forgive you for that." We walked out together. Her mother was screaming after us, begging us to come back and talk and work through this as a family. My niece calls me auntie now and I spend every holiday with my sister. Our parents have been blocked on everything.